Share via email. Report story. By Everlasting Evanescence. So Eri, what did you think of the cultural festival? Izuku Midoriya, also known as Deku, asked while Eri was munching on her candy apple. Eri looked up at Midoriya and took the candy apple out of her mouth and smiled at Midoriya and Mirio Tagata, who was standing next to her. She was skeptical at first, but when she has a good time eating sweets, spending time with Mirio and Midoriya, watching an amazing concert. I had so much fun, Deku. That music thingy we went to was the best part. Eri responded ecstatically as Midoriya chuckled while Eri jumped up and down in excitement. Mirio also chuckled as she patted Eri in the head, causing her to calm down slightly. We're glad to hear that, Eri, and you'll be happy staying here at UA with all of us close by, Mirio said, causing Eri to look up at him with a smile accompanied by a look of amazement. However, hearing a familiar voice, she quickly turned around and saw Ochako Uraraka talking to Suyu Asui not too far from them. Eri, what are you looking at? Mirio asked in confusion. Rather than answer Mirio, Eri ran up to Midoriya and tugged on his pants to get his attention before pointing to Uraraka. Deku, isn't that your girlfriend? Eri asked, causing Midoriya's face to explode into a blush while Mirio tried to hide his laughter and Eri looked at Midoriya expectantly. What? What makes you say that, Eri? Midoriya asked, trying as hard as he could to not sound as embarrassed as he looked. Well, after the music thingy was done, you were looking at her while you were picking up the ice. And then when she talked to you, your face turned all red and started glowing. Eri exclaimed as Midoriya's blush grew deeper and deeper as Mirio was struggling to hold in his laughter. Well, I, I, I think she's nice and pretty. Yeah, Midoriya mumbled before he quickly slapped his hand over his mouth as Eri looked at him with sparkles as Mirio finally couldn't take it anymore as he burst out laughing, causing Midoriya to feel even more embarrassed. Eri, Deku and Uraraka aren't couple. But if what you said about Deku is true, then he does love her, Mirio responded after he had recovered from his fit of laughter as Midoriya looked down at the ground because it at least didn't make him feel like burying himself in a hole. Oh. You should go talk to her, Deku. I'll go get her, Eri exclaimed before she ran off, not giving Midoriya a chance to tell her to stay. Mirio walked up to Midoriya and gave him a few hearty pats on the back. Come on, buddy. Don't be so nervous. You got this, Mirio exclaimed as Midoriya looked up at him, but before he could say anything, Uraraka arrived with Eri pulling her to Midoriya with her hand in Uraraka's, causing Midoriya to lose all thought he had in his head that was not Uraraka related. Deku, what's going on? Eri told me you had something you wanted to tell me, Uraraka asked before Eri ran to Midoriya and poked him in the arm several times to get his attention. Midoriya looked up at Uraraka, and the adorableness of Uraraka looking at him with her head tilted slightly to the left made him blush, and his mind scramble. Oh. Well, I kind of wanted to. Midoriya stammered before Mirio slapped him in the back, causing Midoriya to spill what he wanted to say. I wanted to ask if you wanted to go out with me sometime. Midoriya said a little louder than he expected to and immediately put both of his hands over his mouth as Uraraka's face started to blush as well. Mirio began to feel his chuckles coming back, while Eri looked at Midoriya with an eyebrow raised in confusion. But Deku, we're already outside. And you said that you loved Uravati, Eri stated, causing both Midoriya and Uraraka's respective blushes intensified to the point where it looked like their faces were glowing and continued to look at each other in awkward silence until Uraraka decided to break the silence. Well, I would love to go out with you, Deku, Uraraka responded, not even able to look at Deku with the blush still visible on her face. Midoriya's heart skipped enough beats to make a doctor think that he was having a heart attack, with Mirio giving him an encouraging thumbs up along with Eri giving him two. Really? Yes, really Deku. In that case, do you want to go to the movies tomorrow at 5? That sounds perfect, Deku, Uraraka said before walking up to Midoriya and hugged him. After a momentary paralysis from shock, Midoriya returned the hug, and without knowing it, started running his hand through her chestnut hair. Uraraka decided to respond with a kiss on the tip of Midoriya's nose before leaving the hug to tell Suyu all about this latest development, leaving Midoriya in a state of shock. Wow, Deku. That's so amazing. You're going on a real date. Eri cheered with Midoriya still too surprised at what happened to even respond to the excited white-haired girl. Eri started tugging on Midoriya's pants to get his attention, but Mirio picked her up from underneath her arms and put her on his shoulders. Eri, I think we should leave Midoriya by himself for a little bit. He's still a little surprised at what happened, Mirio said as he walked away from Midoriya with Eri finishing her candy apple before letting out a small yawn. Ah, the little matchmaker sounds a little tired, Mirio said with a smile on his face. What's a matchmaker? Well, it's someone who helps other people get together with someone they love, Mirio explained as Eri got stars in her eyes. Maybe tomorrow, we can do this again. Amajiki needs a little bit of help with Nijire, and I think we're the two that can help him. Mirio exclaimed before high-fiving Eri as they continued their way to the UA dorms. Where stories live. Discover now.